Welcome. These will be my thoughts on X-Men 97, Season 2, Episode 8, The Dead Man's Hand. The episode is rated TV-14, so this video be. There will be spoilers for the show leading up to and including this episode, as well as the original animated 90s X-Men show, and another episode that I absolutely love. So yeah, I think we're just gonna dive right in. I believe this is the penultimate episode. If I understand correctly, there's only one more episode of the season, and I can definitely see how that's because there's just enough to. Well, let's see. There's both just enough to wrap up that I can see an entire more episode, but also not so much that I'm like there has to be more. Like there's no way. And yeah, gonna try to keep this more or less chronological. So Rogue is having nightmares about yeah, undead Gambit, which yeah, that was a very, very effective manner of because like in the dream it looks like, she is blowing up the way his cards and staff used to, or they're not staff, but the cards and such, various things he touched, but so yeah, when it happened later in the episode, I was like, but he just, yeah, he didn't even control her, come to think of it. He knocked her out. And let's see. I think the very next thing was the what's the word? The card game, which yeah, I do kind of love how across these two shows you can never have Beast on screen for terribly long without him making a literary reference. And I really appreciated the response. Save it for book club. And the yeah, the joke about, I thought we weren't going to use powers, and she's like, I can't help it if your tells are so obvious. And yeah, that thing with my fellow blue friend or something along those lines was a quite good. Yeah, I think that is everything about that scene and or the card game specifically. I mean, then we get the alert, and I guess Nathan inherited his flair for the dramatic from I mean, I guess especially Jean, but I mean, with the whole Phoenix thing for one thing, but really with Cyclops, there's definitely also some, um, and maybe it's also a reference to at least one of the live-action movies, because there's also someone who waits for a way too long time to just answer when hailed on a radio. And let's see, I think that does. Yeah, I quite appreciate it. So yeah, Nathan is like, okay, so we need to, hi, and Jubilee steps in, is like, hi, stepping all over his moment and lightening the mood. And the I think that does pretty much bring us to, yeah, and they bring the corpse of Apocalypse, terrible housewarming present, and they show their cards, which yeah, that is unfortunate. Well, the card, they don't show their cards until later. And let's see, it was very, very sweet when and then of course Nathan has to go and undermine it later in the episode. But the thing about I couldn't come see you because I was worried that something, and they're like, well, let's stop worrying about yesterday or tomorrow and just try to be a family right now. And I don't know, I think by the end of this episode, that might not be, yeah, I don't know. I hope they do find a way to be a well-functioning family unit, but this is, comic book adaptation of superhero comics, so perhaps not. And so they're flying together, and the right, oh, that yeah, this is the part where we see Gambit go. Right. Sorry, I completely skipped it. Yeah, we've got the Cerebro became Cerebra, and the yeah, that was a really cool, the thing with trying to find him, and then there's someone who looks just like Gambit, and so the real I guess I kind of need a different name for him. I guess he's Death, right? That's the horseman he is. So Gambeth, and yeah, he's like, you shouldn't look at another man's cards. Which yeah, I would not want to mess with Gambeth. He goes hard, pulls your card, paints your chest red, and I think that's that. Yeah, so they know, he went home, and then we see, he invited both. Let's see, it's the thieves and the assassins, and that was very cool seeing them again. This was an even better use of them than the original series, TOSTAS, and yeah, the the thing with, sending invitations to both of them. So both of them thought the other one wanted something. And yeah, him using the cards and the line, death is just evolution. Like, oof, that is effectively terrifying. So very nicely done on that. And yeah, he manages to take them all over. And the yeah, so the X-Men fly, and very, very cool aerial assault that yeah, I know I say it just about every time this comes up in a piece of action, whether it's animation or live action, but yeah, I do really think it's great if your story can sustain at least one action scene set on, or bare minimum near, even better, on or in a fast-moving vehicle. And it moving through the air is one of the best versions of that, because underwater is also great, because then the danger is so much greater to the characters participating. But yeah, this was fantastic. And we even have, like, they're flying around on these things and attacking in midair. They've got those I don't even know, like, not quite motorcycles, but flying things, like, really reminded me of like skeleton warriors or something. But yeah, that's a good thing, to be clear. And I have no idea if that show was any good. I do not remember any of it except the intro, and I must have liked at least some of it because I know I used to have at least one of the toys. I had the one that has, like, I think it's 6 arms and a different weapon in each or something, that particular skeleton warrior. Anyway, and yeah, all the superpowers being used, like, this is one of my favorite episodes of this season. So many superpowers in play on both sides of the conflict. And we have the let's see. Yeah, that thing with, you are not yourself. No, and now neither are you. And yeah, she tries to use her powers, but it doesn't work on him anymore. Love the shot of, her glove, was it both of them? I forget. Flying out through the hole. And and the part where, he blows up the entire, or tries to blow up the entire, they manage to, using all of the psychics, they're able to salvage the situation. And yeah, genuinely really effective. This thing of like, he tells her, I just want you back. It's true, life flashes before our eyes when we die. All I saw was you. I love how soap opera-y this is. Just, and the yeah, that thing about like dinner is served and you are the guest of honor. And, even undead, he's still more romantic than, like, I guess every single Manosphere person. And let's see, I think that pretty much gets us to, yeah. And so, they, yeah, very clever about the thing, hence why it was in the, what's it called, the previously on, Apocalypse did love once. And I do remember the external, I don't think they explained before that she had anything to do with Apocalypse, but she was a cool character on the original show. I can imagine she's from the comics, but there's a bunch of these stories that I haven't read the comics for. And yeah, that is genuinely really, really clever. And yeah, he's going to grant her immortality through this. And yeah, so they put down the tributes and they summon her. And because he's now got horseman powers, his horse powers through the roof, he can take the thingamajig from her and takes her out, which, like, yeah, did not see that coming because she was established as so powerful before. But yeah. And when he brings her forth, of course her first words are, how dare you summon me from my slumber, which I think means she wants to hit the snooze button. And yeah, fantastic fight during, like, in the woods right after that bit with flying and psychic powers and the teleportation. Holy crap. I mean, I already didn't want Nightcrawler as my enemy, but now I especially don't. Holy, like, he was just, yeah. And clever to, the thing with the let's see. So yeah, they do manage to, let's see, yeah, after, basically, Nightcrawler has taken out, basically everybody else on the other side, Xavier wakes up from his nap, I guess. I don't know. If he had this, like, instant win button, I guess I feel like he could have used it earlier. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing. And I appreciate technically maybe it would only work against, like, Gambit and yeah. Anyway, but it was fantastic seeing the astral plane again. No, I'm still not tired of seeing it. They do get decent mileage out of it in this continuity, and I just love how visual it is. Like, throughout, I was able to tell what is happening, which is important because there's some very, compelling turns along the way. Like, if you're not sure what is happening, then it's just noise. And yeah, he makes himself big, and he's got, like, the armor and the back and forth, just fantastic. And yeah, ultimately we see Apocalypse It's only his body that is dead. His mind is now inside Gambit, and Gambit manages to suppress it. But as Xavier notes near the end, there's only limited time before Apocalypse will take over, and then Gambit is gone forever. So, like, holy crap. Yeah. And meanwhile, X-Factor and X-Force are both trying to kill Gambeth. So that is, yeah. That was also a fantastic reveal, because I did think, oh, they're going to try to arrest them, but no, they want to work with them. I feel like that pretty much does cover... Let's see. There's at least one more thing I want to make sure to say. I am here for the way that they keep just announcing Gambeth by... And frequently at the end of episodes, you know, just like, here's a tarot card, you know, or playing card or something, you know. That was, yeah, because like that was how they determined that Gambeth was the one who killed Apocalypse in the episode for this one. And then this episode pretty much opens with them showing up and saying, look, card. And then this one also ends with it, so yeah. I think that pretty much covers everything. Let's see. I just want to real quick fast forward through the entire episode mentally to see if there is anything else that I really wanted to make sure. Ooh, I like the line about the news were scaring the kids, so I put on The Exorcist instead. That's already a funny line, but honestly, if you watch that movie, like we're talking about the, you know, I want to say 1973 original, if you watch it in the right mind state, that is a comedy. Like, it is hilarious if you are not at all taking seriously the idea of demonic possession and exorcism and this whole thing, because the movie, like, goes to 11 so much of the time. It's like, it has zero chill. And I think that pretty much, yeah. Really, really excited to see the next one. It'll probably be roughly a week before I do it. And, yeah. So the, right. So, yeah. As mentioned, I am a little bit worried if, you know, there's going to be a successful family unit for the, yeah, Nathan and his parents after this, because right now I think he might be their least favorite child, which hurts considering he's the only one they have.